So the same with Sati. Nowadays people translate it as mindfulness, and people think that because Sati means mindfulness, they have to practice general awareness of everything that's happening around them. And so much so that I have even heard a monk telling a lay person that he doesn't have to sit down to meditate. If he's just mindful of everything around him, he is practicing meditation. But that is not what the Buddha said, because, for example, animals are very mindful. If you observe, for example, a monkey is extremely mindful because the monkey has to walk on the branches, and if he steps on a dead branch, he will fall to his death. So every step he takes on the trees, he is extremely mindful of the type of wood that he steps on, and he's also very mindful of the sounds around him. Any sound comes, he is aware to see whether it's a sign of danger or not. So the same with other animals, like the birds. You see the bird come down on the ground to look for food, pecking away at food. Every now and then it's looking around to see, to hear whether there's any danger. So animals are very mindful, but they don't have wisdom. So that is not the practice of Sati. Fortunately, in the suttas, there are about 9 suttas that give the definition of Sati. And the definition of Sati that is given is that Sati means remembering what was said and done a long time ago. Remembers what was said and done a long time ago. So, the meaning here is recollection. The quality of remembering. Quality of remembering. That is the definition of Sati given by the Buddha. And this word Sati, if you check the Pali English dictionary, it comes from a word that is spelled S-M-R-T-I, Smrti or something, which means to remember. So, Sati has everything to do with remembering, not mindfulness or awareness. And if you look at, for example, the Satipatthana Sutta, then you find, what is it we are trying to remember? We have to remember to contemplate body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. Body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. This is the object of Sati. And not to contemplate other things. If we contemplate other things, then we are concerned with worldly things. And then we might be very good in the world, very successful in the world. For example, if you contemplate, for example, the stock market, or you contemplate somebody's reaction, somebody's body language, etc., you might be a very successful person in the world, but you are not practicing Dhamma. So, the first thing about Sati is to remember, to contemplate body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. Why is it we have to practice, to remember, to contemplate these 4 things? Because it helps us to end suffering. What is the cause of suffering? Basically, the cause of we suffer because we have a self, a notion of an ego, a self. And this ego or self is tied up with the 5 khandhas. The Buddha said 5 things we take to be the self. Body, feelings, perception, volition and consciousness. Whenever we refer to ourselves, whether in the past or present or future, it is always with respect to body, feelings, perception, volition and consciousness. But the Buddha said, this idea of a self is something that is permanent, something that is lasting. And we have to see that these 5 things, body, feeling, perception, volition and consciousness, is impermanent. That it is nothing stable about it, that it comes about through conditions, causes and conditions, it arises and it passes away. So if we can contemplate these 5 khandhas, that will help us end our suffering. And these 5 khandhas is basically body and mind. So here, the 4 objects of Satipatthana is body or Sati, is body, feelings, mind and Dhamma. Body is one thing. Feelings, mind can be grouped together with volition, etc., perception, etc., as mind, the working of mind. Dhamma is the teaching of the Buddha. Teaching of the Buddha. So, the Buddha is trying to tell us to put our attention on the body, mind and the Dhamma, basically. Not on worldly things. If you put your attention on worldly things, you caught up with the stream of life and you forget about the Dhamma. You're not practicing Dhamma. So in order to make us understand, the Buddha gave a parable of a tortoise and a jackal. Buddha said one day a tortoise was walking along the banks of a river and he was looking for food, and in the distance he saw a jackal. Jackal is something like a kind of dog, a kind of wolf or something. And then jackal was also looking for food. So the tortoise, of course, was afraid that this jackal might eat this tortoise. So to protect itself, it withdrew its 4 limbs into its shell and the head also into its shell. So it lay very still. So the jackal came up to this tortoise and he thought to himself, if this tortoise, if one of the limbs comes out or the head comes out, I'm going to seize it and pull it out of the shell and eat it alive. So he waited 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and he knew that this tortoise was not going to come out. He got tired of waiting and he walked away. So the Buddha said, in the same way, Mara, Satan, is waiting for us at the 5 sense doors. These 4 limbs plus the head represent 5 things, the 5 sense doors. The eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, and the body touch. And these, what the Buddha is saying is that if we go and pay attention to sights that the eye wants to see, to sounds that the ear wants to hear, to smells, to taste, to touch, and Mara will seize us and catch us like the jackal waiting for the tortoise. So the Buddha said, don't pay attention to the 5 sense doors. Put your attention on the body, mind and Dhamma. So from there you can see. The other thing the Buddha said, another practice related to Sati Sampajanna is Indriya Samvara. Indriya Samvara is sense restraint. The Buddha said not to grasp or pay attention to the characteristics or details of sights, sounds, smells, taste, touch and thoughts. So don't be concerned with the details of sight, sound, smell, taste, these 6 sense doors, including thoughts, even thoughts. We don't actually pay attention to the contents of the thought. So this is the first thing we have to remember. The meaning of Sati, firstly, is concerned with remembering, and to remember to put your attention or to contemplate on body, feelings, mind or Dhamma, or basically body, mind and Dhamma. So this is the first thing in the practice of Sati. There are other things that we have to remember in the practice of Sati Sampajanna, but that is the first thing.